Today was a crazy day. I saw this International Space Station crossing the moon, and I thought to myself, how come it's only about a quarter of the size of a plane crossing the moon? Seems like it'd be much smaller than that, especially when we look at the size comparison and see that both an airplane and the International Space Station are about the same size as a football field. And then you look at a football field from an airplane window and you realize that it looks pretty small from there. So then I wonder, is this really 250 miles away? Then I thought to myself, well, it can't be fake because I can go on YouTube and watch the live stream of the ISS coursing across the face of the Earth. And someone obviously took this picture, and I know you can track it, and there's people who see it all the time, but the live feed footage doesn't look much higher than a weather balloon, and we all know most satellites are launched by balloon. So then I came across this thing, which is a U.S. patented triangular spacecraft that uses what is called unconventional spacecraft propulsion systems, which is a spacecraft having a triangular hull with vertical electrostatic line charges on each corner that produce a horizontal electric field parallel to the sides of the hull. This field interacting with a plane wave emitted by the antennas on the sides of the hull generates force per volume, combining both lift and propulsion. Then I find out that these electrostatic propulsion systems are used in satellites. Then I start to look into electrostatic levitation. What? Then I find out about the electrostatics in our atmosphere, that it has an equipotential increase of 100 volts per meter, which could possibly be the reason for the downward bias of things trying to seek equilibrium on the ground. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I figure out that liquid oxygen is actually magnetic. And I'm like, wait a minute. Hold on. If liquid oxygen is magnetic, and frozen oxygen is this beautiful sky blue, then does liquid oxygen somehow interact with this electrostatic orbital electromagnetic field? I don't know. Wait, what? Then I found this thing, a toroidal field made out of copper and stones. All of a sudden, he hangs this golden necklace over it, and it starts orbiting. Oh, have you seen the path of the ISS over the flat Earth? Yeah, that's the path it takes. The International Space Station path over the flat Earth. It's a toroidal field. I don't know. This is why they don't want us to do our own research, because simply just asking a question about this sent me on this whole rabbit trail, finding a lot of other things that may be... Whoa, Viper! I almost got done with the video, but then guess what you did? You screamed at me! What do you want? What? Hold on. What'd you just say to me? Anyway, hey, could this thing possibly be orbiting a different way? Could the firmament be scientifically explained?
Do you still think we're going to space? You think these rockets are actually meeting up with an International Space Station orbiting the Earth at 17,000 miles per hour, and somehow this is going to catch up to it? I just want to say ahead of time, I get fired up with these videos because it makes me so angry that people can't see through the lies of NASA and SpaceX. But I'm going to try to let you see. And I apologize if I'm sarcastic, but like I said, these fire me up. I'm going to show you, this was launched 4 days ago. I'm going to show you a quick little fast forward of it, and then I'm going to break it down, and I'm going to make them look so silly that if you watch the whole thing, there's no way you won't at least think for a second that maybe they're faking it.
Ignition, engine full power, and
I just kind of went fast here so you could get the idea, and then we'll tear it apart. This was an overview of this shuttle launch from 4 days ago. Let's start with the easy stuff. One, they probably launched a rocket, and it's going up, and then look, this is still up, and this is the easy part. We're just going to follow this on its path on its way back down, okay? This is the easy one, and then I want to show you some more fun. Okay, I fast forward a little bit because you can see this is going down. And then once you think it's really going down, then they make cuts like this. And now it's really, really going down. But somehow they expect people to think that's going up still. Up is up, people. So here's this. There's some fun ones. Stick around. First, let's just look at another simple one. This is what they show as that rocket is going up, okay? Notice this view, there's no instruments right up on them. And then they cut later, and all of a sudden this is what it looks like. Like they're, in Star Wars, right up on these screens. Those screens weren't there, so one error.
The crew is experiencing about 3 Gs, so pretty much a roller coaster for those thrill seekers out there. Pretty much a roller coaster. Pretty much a roller coaster. Oh, here we go. Hop goes the wheel.
All right, telemetry. Stage 1 throttle down.
There's that call out that Falcon 9's engines are throttling down to help us pass through the period of maximum dynamic pressure during ascent.
Max Q.
There's that call out for Max Q,
Falcon 9 is supersonic.
and that Falcon 9 is going faster than the speed of sound.
What does it feel like to pull G's in a modern fighter like the F-16 or the F-35? Welcome, my name is Hazard. I'm an F-35 fighter pilot for the Air Force. So this is a great question. What does it feel like to pull G's? First, let's understand what G's are. So G's are the number of times of the force of gravity on your body. So right now, under 1 G, I weigh, or 1 time the force of gravity, I weigh 210 pounds, 230 to 240 with my gear on. And if you've ever been in a roller coaster where you're turning, going in a loop, and it kind of pushes your head down, that's 3 to 4 G.
The crew is experiencing about 3 Gs, so pretty much a roller coaster for those thrill seekers out there.
Looks just like those guys on that SpaceX rocket, right? They're just freaking chilling, have no problem lifting their 600-pound hand. Okay, here's the space station too. This was from that video. Sure, yeah. And this is going 17,000 miles per hour, and that rocket is supposed to catch up to it. How? But then watch the docking of it. If you can't see, this is like a toy, a model. Watch how this moves here. Come on, guys. I saved the absolute best for last. Are you ready for this? Watch. If you're not convinced yet, and you watch this and you're still not, you're never gonna get it. You see it? They're using green screens. Nobody's going to space. There's literally a firmament above us. You can't get to the moon, you can't get to space. Space isn't even what you think.
They rose up to eye level, and I remember saying, boy, the world is flat. I'm looking it in the eye. I see further, I see wider, I see clearer.
Earth is a great kid. She's really bright, but she's been having a little trouble lately. She brought this in to show the other students the section on the lunar landings.
Yeah, it's on my old textbooks. She always loved the pictures.
It's an old federal textbook. We've replaced them with the corrected versions.
Corrected.
Explaining how the Apollo missions were fake to bankrupt the Soviet Union.
You don't believe we went to the moon?
You know, Matthew McConaughey's not really admitting that the Earth is flat in his little interview, but it's just funny to hear him say that type of reference, and then to see him in a movie that's based in the future that basically says that the government's going to admit that the moon landings were fake. I don't know. It's just funny that those two things are a thing.
Welcome to the world of scientific lies and deception. Tell me this, globe believers, if we really do live on a spinning water ball in space, would you need to fake experiments to prove it? I wonder why Stephen Hawking thought so.
We synchronized the liftoff and landing at the exact moment the helicopter crosses the horizon. Nothing has been altered, and the official time code of the full program is given. The helicopter here is about to descend below the horizon, and the helicopter here is about to crest the horizon and enter our line of sight. The waves of the lake in both scenes are identical, and the helicopter is not.
So what's the excuse today, Globers? Why did Stephen Hawking, PBS, NASA, and these three liars all have to fake this helicopter experiment?
The same bird flies the same path in both scenes. These scenes are trick photography and not true recordings.
You understand what's going on? There is no question here. It's not up for debate. This is trick photography. It's not real. It's fake.
I got him.
As it lands, it completely disappears from my line of sight.
Right now.
These are the same scenes with extra magnification.
It is a sad, sad world. We have TV shows and so-called scientific platforms lying to you and your children. And possibly worse than that, if you can even imagine, the people that are going to go to bat, the religious zealots, the globe-believing zealots that will go to bat for Stephen Hawking and PBS.
Well, they had to lie to us because it's easier to get the point across, so you fake the helicopter.
It worked. I'm not a scientist, and to be able to just do that off a whim and it just came to me, that was incredible.
My name is Kat Bobineau, and I am a scientist.
It worked. I'm not a scientist, and to be able to...
The only thing I know for sure, Kat, is that you're a liar. Guys, catch me everywhere. This has been Jaronism. YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Rockton, the web, Patreon. Contact me at Telegram, @Jaronism. Until next time. Peace.
Here is where your Hubble telescope images come from. A special purpose 747 airliner with a telescope attached called the Sophia. This is why the Hubble and the Sophia images are indistinguishable from each other. They come from the exact same place. And that place, my friends, is not in outer space, because space is not a real place.
7, press pound. To cancel, press pound.
This is Mike.
Mike, Miss Linsky?
Yes.
Mr. Miss Linsky, sorry about that. This is Robert Bassano. How are you? I'm a graduate student. I wanted to know if there was just a couple of questions you could help me out with some answers. I'm on you guys' website right now, and it's regarding Hubble.
Okay. Where are you with?
I'm a graduate student at university.
Okay. What?
I'm working on a MATLAB image processing toolbox application that processes a variety of images to determine the relation with other images that might have been manipulated or amended, or maybe it was to determine the original source. I have a half a dozen photos I took off from NASA's website for Hubble and Sophia, and when I ran them through MATLAB's image processing toolbox for comparative analysis, that those images came from the same source. And it wasn't at 330 miles above the surface of the Earth.
The question to some degree is, how do you help someone that's lost? And the answer to that is, if they aren't willing to not be lost, you cannot help them. And I would also say that as a clinician. You see, it's a statement that's informed, I would say, by my mythological knowledge, but also by straight clinical wisdom, not mine particularly. I mean, one of the things that Carl Rogers pointed out was that there were necessary preconditions for entering into a therapeutic relationship. And that would be really any relationship where the mutual flourishing of the two people involved was the paramount goal. And one of the preconditions was that both people had to want that to happen. And Rogers believed he didn't know how to get the horse to drink once you had brought it to the water. And I've thought about that a lot, because when people are really lost, sometimes they're so lost that they can't be found. And I think the only thing that you can do in a situation like that is get your life together and manifest the reality of an alternative mode of being. That's what you've got. And so, that's the only way I know of to solve an intractable problem. There's a statement in the New Testament that's really vicious. In fact, there's a number of them, but this is a particularly vicious one. And that is, don't cast pearls before swine. And what that means is, if you're trying to help and it doesn't work, then stop helping. It's not helping, right? It may be just wasting your time. It might be making things worse. Now, if you're offering something and it's not taken, then perhaps you should be offering it somewhere else. And sometimes, if you offer a hand and the person won't take it, you have to stop offering the hand. And then what you do is you go off and you have your life. And sometimes that means in people's lives, for example, that they have to leave their family members behind. There's a scene in the New Testament, this is another very harsh scene, where Christ is walking down the road with his disciples. I hope I've got this story right, but I've got it essentially right. And his mother calls to him and says, I believe that he's supposed to come back to the home because his uncle has died and that there's going to be a funeral. And he turns to his mother and says something like, let the dead bury their dead. I'm about my Father's business. It's something like that. And you read that and you think, that should have been edited out. No, but it shouldn't have been edited out, because it's exactly right, because sometimes the thing you do is walk away because there's no other solution. And if you are trapped in pathological relationships and you see no way out of them, if someone who is sinking has their hands around your neck and is pulling you down, you're not obligated to drown with them. You know, there's a rule too if you're a lifeguard. Some of you have had lifeguard training. How do you approach someone who's drowning and panicking in the water? Feet out, right, like this. It's like, I'll save you, but that doesn't mean you get to drown me while I'm doing it. And if it's you drown or both of us drown, it's you drown. And that's wisdom. That's not cruelty, right? So, yeah.